I forgot to mention something this morning. Uh, One night this week, I was watching something on Discovery. One of those discoveries turned into reality show hell, Storage Wars, Pawn Stars. It cracks me up. How many years have people been watching Curse of Oak Island? What have they found? Come on. People keep going back for more. Okay, let's go dig another hole over there. Maybe we'll find that treasure finally after all these years on TV. Come on, man. Swamp people and everything is staged, you know. When I was in Arizona for those 3 years, some guys I got to be friendly with, we took a weekend trip to Vegas. Mostly strip shows, until I met someone out there, and then no more strip shows for Uncle Brian. And said, hey, let's go to that Pawn Stars place. You know, it's in the worst part of Vegas. Around here, they'd call it the slums, ghetto, Bowery. I want to say Fremont Street, at the very, very far away from all the glitz and glamour of Vegas. It's when you get past all that, that's where you see the rundown motels, the liquor stores, hookers, people sleeping on sidewalks, drunks, panhandlers, little small, cheesy, cheap fucking rundown, rat hole motel rooms and shit like that. And you see a lot of other pawn shops around there. And, well, that silver and gold, world famous, it's in the same building as the fucking liquor store. And the liquor store's building bigger than the fucking pawn shop. But that's not where they film it. We went in, looked around. It does not look anything at all like you see on TV. In fact, they had one counter, and not like you see on TV, expensive clocks and expensive things. It was your average run-of-the-mill junk, you know. And the rest of it, what was the rest of the space inside, was all merchandise. Pawn Stars, Corey and Chumley and Old Man and Rick bobbleheads and T-shirts and hats and coffee cups and all merchandise. And you don't see any of them there. And one of the guys I was friendly with, he knows a guy very well that used to work there, security, at that shop. And he says, man, it's not what you see on TV. He says, he worked there night security. And you get the winos, the drunks, the people that have lost everything they fucking own in a fucking casino when they go down there and they're taking a watch off, asking $5 for it, just so they, you know what I mean? It's all the fucking lowlifes and that go in there. He says, where the show is filmed, they have a big warehouse in another part of Vegas, like a TV movie set. That's where it's all filmed. And it's all set up, props and everything in the cases and against the wall. And now you don't see all their merchandise. And the customers walking around there, they're all paid extras. If any of you think reality shows are real, you got a problem. They filmed 2 here in the city, one not that far from me at Labatt's Tavern, a bar rescue. Oh, that was. And another one, Undercover Boss at Frying Seafood Processing Plant down at the Inner Harbor. Everybody knew what was going on. It was all fucking staged and scripted and set up. The people that, with their sob story at the end. Well, I'm going to buy you, okay, I'll buy you a house, I'll pay for your kids. Those people didn't even work there. They were fucking actors. They were trained on. I don't have to tell you. If you don't know everything is staged, you never will. Says, and that's where it's filmed. And these people, people are walking down Vegas with a, old English Victorian suit of armor. Oh, I got this, very rare Picasso painting, this sculpture. And they have their websites. And they reach out to people when people reach out to them. If they feel you have an interesting item that would make a good episode on the show, they communicate, pictures, talk, and then they fly these people out, give them a hotel room for the night, and then they appear on an episode. It's all scripted. Their conversations back and forth and their negotiating is all scripted, And that show also spun off. You got American Restoration with that Rick Dale guy. Another one. Oh, yeah. I got this radio flyer wagon, it's kind of all fucked up. I bought it in a yard sale. Oh, you see, Oh yeah, I figure I could restore that for $6,000. Scuff it down, bang out the dents, spray some paint on it. Yeah, I figure I can restore that for $6,000. It's fucking stupid. And then the other one was that fucking Danny the Count, and oh man, give me a fucking break. Reality show hell. All the reality car shows, and they all became more about the personalities on the show than what was actually going on. American Chopper, people tune in just to see Paul Sr. and Paul Jr. yelling and swearing and throwing chairs at each other. Nobody gave a fuck about their cartoonish bikes. Their bikes are fucking junk, you know. Yeah, I got an idea. Let's put waffle iron handles for handlebars. We use this crock pot as a fucking coffee, as a fucking gas tank. Stupid shit. So that show is all, staged and scripted. I think you know that. And I was watching TV the other night. I was channel surfing, and I do like Discovery. Lawrence Fishburne hosts a series, History's Greatest Mysteries. Some interesting things. Plus, I think he's cool. I like his attitude. He's kind of laid back and calm, relaxed. And he's a real good actor. I like him in a lot of his movies. And the only movie I didn't like with him was Biker Boys. That was the only movie I didn't like was Biker Boys. Everything else, I think he's great. And he hosts every episode. He did one like Mysteries of the Titanic. D.B. Cooper, remember that hijacker jumped out of a plane with all that money, they never found him. I know what cracks me up, fucking Curse of Oak Island. How many fucking years people been watching that show? What have they found? You know what I mean? Swamp people. Oh, I think got canceled, right, didn't they? Anyway. I just lost my train of thought now. A little bit of an Uncle Brian Lifter hangover. What to come tonight. And I had an Uncle Brian Lifter this morning. Then I had to run a few errands, came back, and that's what made me think of it. I thought I knew everything about video games. I thought. In this episode of Pawn Stars, some guy comes in. Yeah, I was watching that, and then I got up and I went out in the living room for a while. I was doing something out there. When I came in, that episode had ended, and Pawn Stars was on. So I haven't watched it in a while, so I'm going to watch it. It was already like about 10 minutes into it. This guy comes in with a big fucking box. I found out something new. You know, I say you find out something new every day. Well, I learned something new every day. The other night. I always thought the first home entertainment video game system was Atari. Some people say ColecoVision. I don't know. I know I had an Atari 2600 when it first came out with the paddles and the joysticks and Pong, and that was a real popular thing. Then Nintendo came along. And over the years, I had several due to my daughters when they came along and they wanted, the Atari wasn't cool enough for them. It was already almost obsolete because at that time, Nintendo would come along now with Super Mario. First Nintendo Classic, then Super Mario. I had a Nintendo 64 for them. Got a PlayStation for them. I remember I had to get that guitar for Guitar Hero when I had to get them that pad for them Dance Revolution or something. You danced on the floor, and they had all that shit, and then they outgrew it, and I don't even know what happened to all of them. But I do remember ColecoVision. I knew a kid that had a ColecoVision. Those are pretty cool. I have to admit, I liked it had that disc like bowling. You could steer the ball and shit. Some sports games you could do a little more with it than you could with, like, say, a Nintendo or Atari. And but I never heard about this. Guy comes in with a gaming system. Rick, naturally, if he doesn't know everything, and that's why I like when they come in. You notice on that show, whatever somebody brings in, they give you a history lesson on it. Because they know what's coming. They've researched it on Google, so they know everything about everything. Do you really think he knows everything about everything that somebody brings in there? Fuck no. Good old Google, man. Because they know what's coming when it's arriving. They've already researched it. So they can look like a fucking expert standing there. And if Rick's not an expert, he always has a buddy that's an expert, doesn't he? Let me call my buddy in here. He knows everything about everything. And that family, that guy was telling us, he says, man, that family's fucked up. Rick's got 3 ex-wives. They had restraining orders on him. He's not a very nice guy. Chumley's been arrested so many times on meth charges and illegal gun charges. Corey's been in deep shit. It's another fucking dysfunctional family. Like the fucking Tuttles, you know? Hold on a second. Okay, sorry, I had to step away for a minute. It's one big dysfunction. And, you know, anyone going to that pawn shop that you see on TV, you know, you go there, you're not going to see them there. And they have money. Oh, yeah, they've made money all right. You know, they make a ton of money just being paid, you know, for their appearance on that show. They live off that alone. They get something like $30-something thousand each episode. Put up 20 episodes a season. Each one's getting that, you know. They really don't need to sell anything, you know. And what they're giving out for money, a lot of it's staged sales. They're not buying anything. Those aren't real sellers. They're just props people bring in. Someone's paid to be, oh, look, hey, I found this in my grandfather's attic. It's all staged bullshit. You know, I think you know that. Anyway, this guy comes in with a video game system. A Magnavox Odyssey. I never heard of it. Now, I know Sears also had a game system. Same exact thing as ColecoVision. You want to know why? It was a ColecoVision. This much I do know. ColecoVision made it. And they licensed it out to Sears. They produced it for Sears, except it said Sears Vision. Sears, it didn't say ColecoVision. It had Sears with their own name on it. And they got a piece of the pie and a royalty for everyone that Sears sold. You know, same, you take a look, they're the same thing, just different name printed on it. That I do know. Anyway, this was in 1971, Magnavox Odyssey. Guy brought one in. And Rick's looking, he says, wow, I heard about these, I never saw one. Let me get my buddy down here. He calls his buddy from his toy shop. And even that, he had 2 different people. The first guy he had that was his buddy at the toy shop, his expert came in. Then he was gone from the show. He ended up in jail. He was dealing meth and drugs and shit out of his fucking toy shop. He got busted. He went to jail. So now Rick got another new best buddy that runs a toy shop in Vegas. His expert, he came in. Wow. I never seen any of these. I've heard about them. This thing was it was like a square console. It looked kind of like the original Nintendo Classic, the first square one with Duck Hunt and the guns, just a little bit bigger. It looked very, very similar. And, sorry, the sports show on. I was catching scores going across the border. And it had a stack of paperwork like this. It had bags with money, like play money, like Monopoly, a couple of controllers, a big bag, what looked like poker chips, and this plastic thing all folded up like you unfold it, and it was like a big mat, like a plastic game board, but a little bit translucent. You could kind of see through it a little bit. And to hook this thing up to a TV was a fucking nightmare alone with the wires. You had to do this because back then TVs didn't have, you know, AV jacks and shit like that, and, you know, USB ports and HDMI ports and all that. You know, this real ancient shit. And he says, yeah, he says, wow, everything's here. And they had an instruction manual, this stick that you had to read through just to try to figure out how to play a fucking game. So it was so complicated. Said even that plastic thing, when you taped it to your TV screen, and then while you were doing something, which you're trying to look through it to see what the fuck you're doing, lights would light up behind it in certain portions of that map, like you're playing fucking bingo. He said it was a terrible game system. That's why it didn't sell very much. I'm going by what he said. I could Google it. He said it had a 2-year run. First year run, second year run. And it's like a 1,500 or 1,800. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't in the thousands and thousands. And it was very expensive at that time. It was like $700 and something to buy this fucking thing in 1971. But how they made some money off it was the one game they did have was Pong. Everyone, you think of Pong, I know Atari 2600 with the paddles, Pong. Bing, 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 bing. Anyway, they had a Pong. That Pong, same exact one. But they had their own name for it. When Atari came out with their 2600, they stole the idea. There was some, I guess, Magnavox didn't think ahead, didn't think anyone else was going to be bright enough to make another video game system. You know, they were going to be the only one. They didn't bother putting some patent or something on it. Anyway, Atari now steals this Pong game, calls it Pong, and they're selling it. Anyway, went back and forth in court, and they ended up winning a royalty case. So for every Atari 2600 sold with Pong, Magnavox got a royalty. He said it's kind of funny because even when this game went away after 2 years, it wasn't selling. Magnavox was still making a lot of money for a lot of years off of Atari with that Pong game that they stole from them. You know. So Rick Nats will go, how much is this worth? He says, well, these things sold new for like $760. I'm just going by what the guy said on TV. This toy expert. They sold for like $760. You notice I always say, to the right collector. Hey, some people have too much money and not enough brains. Some people will pay anything for anything. And do you know if they're really even worth anything like that? You can ask whatever you want. You know what I mean? I can ask $10,000 for this lighter, and by the way, it still works. I haven't had to dip into my new one yet. About 3 months. I thought I was going to use it up the last Uncle Brian left the weekend. But that begins on Fridays. Like today. Ends on Sunday night. So, well, to the right collector, people can ask whatever they want. It's just a matter of who's willing to pay for it. Some people got too much money, too much free time. They don't mind blowing thousands and thousands or something, and they really don't care. You know what I mean? We have those types always. Well, I always say, to the right collector, yeah. You go try to find one. This one here, everything is here. It's all intact. Everything is here. It's not missing anything. It looks like it's brand new, like it's hardly been played. To the right collector, you could get $3,000 for it. Then he's looking at it more and he flips it over and he goes, oh no. The guy wanted like $150 for it. He didn't know what it was worth. I get a kick out of it too. You know, pawn shops don't do that shit. People go in with something. What do you want? $500 for it. Let me get my buddy down there, and he calls his expert, his art expert, his sword expert, his gun expert. Then they find out, oh, this worth $10,000. Okay, here, I'll give you your $500. Oh no, what do you want now? Oh no, I want $10,000, and they get greedy. No pawn shop owner is going to tell their customer right in front of them that it's worth a lot more than what they're fucking asking. Okay, you don't stay in business that long. Okay, if you do that shit. Common sense. He's looking at it. He says, oh, wait a minute. No. The first year these came out, these are the ones that the collectors want, is the first year run. Then he flipped it over. You know, they got a sticker, patent number, and a bunch of other numbers, and UL listing, and then it has another one, and it had a printed number on it, a printed series number. Oh, this is the Series 2, the second year production run. It's the same one, same exact one. They just, basically, when it was produced from here to here, and now they produced from here to here, same exact thing, just produced at 2 different times. Oh, if this was a Series 1, it would be worth around $3,000 to the right collector. But this is a Series 2. The right collectors don't want the Series 2. They're not worth much. They're worth maybe $100, $150. Yeah. So anyway, Rick says, I'll give you $50 for it. The guy took $50 for it and walked out. Yeah, okay. So I'm just curious, Job, with all your video game systems, do you have any of those Magnavox Odysseys? I'm quite sure you must have at least 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of those laying around with all the rest of your video game systems, right? Check them good. Make sure it's a Series 1 from the first year production run. Those are the ones that are worth thousands of dollars. The other ones, Be lucky to get $50 for it, okay?